trying to get high, smoking a lot of weed. It was just about, okay, Will needs to have a good time because Will needs to numb this pain.
Totally thirsty for unconditional love, and no one wants anything to do with me. I had no self-worth at all.
Will was an addict who couldn't relieve his guilt. Rone was a Hollywood cast-off, desperate for someone to love. Both came to LA looking for a fresh start. Their desperation brought them together. Rone was adopted and raised in a broken home. As the only Middle Eastern girl in small-town Kentucky, she never felt like she belonged.
Everyone was blonde, blue eyes, had dimples, had like little button noses, like just looked like little Britney Spearses everywhere, okay? I felt like I had to be beautiful, and I felt like I wasn't beautiful at all. I told myself, as long as you have a banging hot body, you're set. It doesn't matter if people love you because you can get that void filled by sleeping with somebody. I just felt like sex could fix everything.
Will was a different story. He was a pastor's son, had a loving family, and was a devoted Christian. He started preaching at 13, earning the admiration of those around him. But by college, it was more about the attention than the message.
My relationship with God was really dwindling because I was strictly going through the motions. The kudos and the recognition, it feels good. Being able to brag to my buddies that, oh yeah, I got invited to go here, and yep, going out of town again, you know, sorry, I can't hang out.
Then Will got a job that boosted his ego even more, as a store model at Abercrombie & Fitch.
Everybody there loved me. Loved the way I looked, loved the way I dressed, loved the way I talked. I mean, everything was just, oh, Will is awesome. And all it was pride.
Will started pulling away from his church and eventually left the ministry to work in the fashion industry. As for Rone, she had moved to Hollywood with dreams of becoming an actress. Within a few months, she starred in a national commercial with Jessica Simpson, booked guest spots on Desperate Housewives and Ugly Betty, and even received a personal invitation to the Playboy Mansion.
I had basically gotten everything that I had ever wanted handed to me, but I still wasn't happy. I just wanted some kind of unconditional love. I wanted someone who just found me to be the most amazing person in the world.
It was then she started dating a well-known actor and moved in with him. But it was not the fairy tales she had been hoping for.
He cheated on me. He would go drink and do drugs and end up in the hospital and then call me from the hospital and say I drove him to do that. But I just wanted to be loved so bad, I didn't care.
Meanwhile, Will signed with an agency in New York City and was modeling for Armani, Puma, Bloomingdale's, Emporia, and Gucci.
I felt like I had arrived. People were awesome. I loved them. They loved me.
But success came with compromises and a growing sense of guilt he couldn't shake.
I was doing all these things that were wrong, going against everything I was taught. I was willing to sleep with whoever. I was willing to do any kind of drugs. I still had these moments where I felt like it was just me and God in the room. And he was just, what are you doing? What are you doing, Will?
While Will's career flourished, Rone's was about to crash. A sex tape she made with her boyfriend was leaked to the tabloids, destroying her professional and personal life.
It was my idea to make the tape. It was my decision to make that, but I was doing it to try to fix our relationship and try to like help somebody like love me. And it like ruined my life. I couldn't get a job at this point. No guy wanted to be with me at all.
That is until she met Will. After having a falling out with a designer, Will headed to LA hoping to restart his career. The night he arrived, he met Rone at a party. It was a perfect fit. He needed a place to stay, and she needed someone to love.
He's willing to live with me. He's willing to be with me. So I'll just put up with the fact that he does drugs because who else am I gonna get that loves me?
But the drugs Will used to numb his guilt were costing him his career. After 3 months, he had no money, no work, and no one to turn to, except God.
I said, God, I'm done. I don't know if you still love me. I don't know if you still have something for me. I just know that I can't continue doing what I'm doing right now. I just wanted to be in church because it had been years since I'd really been in church. I remember going up to the altar and praying. As much effort and energy that I exerted for myself, that's exactly how much I want to give back to you. You're my Heavenly Father, and I'm like a prodigal son.
Gradually, Will stopped using drugs. But Rone noticed that wasn't the only thing different about him.
He started to have a lot softer heart. He started to not be so angry. He started to be kinder with me.
Then, he did something that made Rone's heart stop.
He said, we're not gonna live together anymore. And we're not gonna sleep together. And I was like, no. No, dude, no. If you stop sleeping with me, you will want nothing to do with me. Trust me, I know. And he's like, look, I'm gonna show you that we will still date, we will still be together, I will still be faithful to you. And he still called me, he still took me out on dates, and he really showed me what true unconditional love was, of you don't have to sleep with somebody, you don't have to live with them, you can be faithful to them. That was just a total depiction of Jesus, and I felt I just really he really showed me God.
A few months later, Rone gave her life to Christ. 2 years later, she married Will. It was then she realized that God had given her the love she had always wanted.
Genesis 50:20, what evil was planned against me, God used for good. And it's just really cool, because that's something only he could do.
In 2015, they launched The Night Shepherd, an organization that provides legitimate resources and personal support to those working in the entertainment industry. Together, they share how God fully redeemed their lives.
I have found my identity in the Lord, that he made me perfect, and every flaw and every freckle and everything is perfect in his eyes.
That guy. There's no room for pride and God. And God says, it's not about your works, it's about what I've done. It's not about your accomplishment, but it's what I have set for you. And his awesome plan is better than anything that you could ever come up with.